hi there. My name is Dr. Raymond Connors, and I have a course to show you here. Dr. Ray's online business English course. My name is Dr. Raymond Connors. I'm an Australian native English speaker. I have an advanced professional TESOL diploma. I've been a university lecturer for many years, a teacher trainer, and generally an ESL expert. Let's have a look at this course. It's a 20-lesson course in business English, starting at the beginner level and taking you to upper intermediate level. That's right, in only 20 lessons you will advance from beginner level in business English up to upper intermediate because the course is so highly focused. So, how does it work? Right at the beginning, the lessons 1 to 7 are in the beginner to lower intermediate range, and they include things like applying for a job, contract negotiations, discussing job terms, globalization, cultural diversity, online shopping, online security. By the time we get to lesson number 7, you're starting to get near to the lower intermediate area. So, the next thing we do is from lessons 8 to 14, we go from lower intermediate up to intermediate level. And in this, of course, the English starts to get a little more challenging. We're going to discuss the best place to live, a lesson on commercial strategies, a lesson on organizing a speech, a complete lesson on moving abroad, one on making a basic presentation, one on travel for business, another one on environmental issues. And then, after that, we move into the upper intermediate area as the lessons get more challenging. Lesson number 15 is describing an advertisement. The next is expressing feelings. Then artificial intelligence, using convincing language, advanced negotiation skills, and preparing a conference talk. The thing is, with each of these lessons, there are about approximately 30 minutes of video instruction or slide production, along with some downloadable materials and exercises. So in each one, there's a video or presentation with a lecture by me. There's interactive exercises for you to do. There are speaking exercises. There are reading exercises, listening exercises, and a whole lot of pronunciation with the native speaker, which is me. There's downloadable homework assignments, which I expect you will do. What will be the outcome at the end of this course? Well, you'll be able to use English for communication with both your colleagues and clients. What happens with that is this brings about an increase in sales for your company. And because you brought about an increase in sales for your company, your promotion and long-term employment security is assured. So what will I learn? We've just had a quick overview up to now, but what will I learn in these things? Okay, let's have a look at the first step, lessons 1 to 7, ranging from beginner to lower intermediate. The lessons are like this. The lesson number 1, which is at a very low and easy to understand level, applying for the job. You will practice speaking in a job interview. You'll learn vocabulary for describing yourself in an interview, and you'll review talking about yourself. That's pretty good, isn't it? In the next lesson, we're going to talk about contract negotiations. You're going to practice negotiating a contract, particularly of employment. You're going to learn vocabulary that is commonly used in contracts of all types. And we're going to review negotiation skills and give you some vocabulary and sentence structures to be able to use them. In lesson number 3, we're going to be discussing job terms. We're going to practice having a conversation in a job interview, more advanced than the previous one. We're going to practice talking about your past job experiences, if you have them. And we're going to review talking about your job conditions and the contract that you might want to sign. The next lesson in this stage is about globalization. You'll learn how to talk about the economy and globalization and the connection between them. You're going to practice talking about globalization and its effects. You're going to be able to practice talking about advantages and the disadvantages of globalization. Don't forget, each of these lessons comes with downloadable homework and a whole set of exercises as well. The next lesson in this lower intermediate part is going to be about cultural diversity. We're going to practice talking about your identity, your nationality, and your ethnicity, and you'll be able to talk about them too. You're going to practice talking about globalization and its effects in greater depth. You're going to practice the pronunciation of the difficult th sound in English. And every one of these lessons has lots of pronunciation exercises, by the way. The next lesson is on online shopping. We're going to practice talking about the different types of online shopping, the advantages and disadvantages of online shopping. We'll practice giving your opinion of online shopping and its future. And we're going to practice talking about security when shopping online. And the last one in this particular set, going up towards lower intermediate, we'll talk in greater depth about online security. You'll practice talking about the security and privacy of social networks. You'll practice talking about the advantages and disadvantages of online shopping in greater depth than in the previous lesson, and the reliability or otherwise of press content. You're going to practice using reported speech, the subjunctive, and, of course, pronunciation. You notice this is the first time I mentioned grammar, but in each of these lessons, all the way through this course, we'll be doing some grammar stuff. I don't believe in focusing strongly on grammar, but just introducing it as it happens. So in the next part, where we're progressing from lower intermediate level of English to an intermediate level in lessons 8 to 14. We're going to be talking about these sorts of lessons, the sorts of things that go on in here. In lesson number 8, you'll practice talking about rural flight and living in cities and the effects of urbanization. You'll learn how to discuss moving in together with a friend, family member, or your partner. We'll also practice the pronunciation of some difficult words such as announce, background, and surround, and lots of others. Lesson number 9, we're going to be talking about commercial strategy. We're going to practice reading about commercial advertising strategies and learn the vocabulary of commercial selling techniques. You'll also practice expressing your opinion about these strategies and doing some writing about it, as well as some pronunciation and grammar exercises. In lesson number 10, organizing a speech. Now, there's not much to making a speech. You don't need to have a great deal of fancy vocabulary. You just need to know how to organize it, and you'll do fine. You'll learn advanced expressions to organize your speech in front of a whole lot of people. You'll learn advanced conversation techniques, and you will practice organizing a speech or a conversation and how to effectively interrupt other people while they are talking, but in a manner which would be considered polite. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about moving abroad. As you progress in your job, you might be offered the opportunity to move abroad with your family. So we'll practice talking about moving abroad for a long period of time, not just for a holiday. You will also practice talking about culture shock, what it means, and how you will cope with it. You'll also practice talking about maybe taking a year off between your university studies and starting work. And the next one is going to be about making a basic presentation. Making a presentation is quite easy when you know how, but most people are quite scared of it because they think, wow, I've got to talk in front of a whole lot of people. But when you know what you're doing, that nervousness, those butterflies in your stomach go away. You'll practice preparing a basic presentation. You'll learn how to structure your ideas for your presentation, and you'll practice presenting and analyzing the arguments and how to take questions, how long the presentation should be, a lot more. And then in lesson 13, we're going to talk about travel for business. As you progress in your job, it's very likely you might need to travel from one city to another or from one country to another. So we'll practice reading about working holiday visas to go to another country, talking about working in a different country, what the good things are, what the bad things are, and what you must do and what you must not. Practice talking about work and travel options. And then in lesson number 14, the last in the series, which brings you up to an intermediate level, we're going to talk about environmental issues. You'll practice talking about animal ethics, abuse, and discrimination against animals. Practice justifying your point of view, why you are right, and you'll practice reacting to environmental issues. By this time, you will be speaking business English at an intermediate level. So you will be progressing very well. And finally, the last leg of this journey, from lessons 15 to 20, you will be moving from intermediate to an upper intermediate level of English that you can use in business. Here are the lessons that are in this part. First of all, describing an advertisement. You'll learn what the elements of advertising are and how to describe them. You'll learn about the values of advertising and how to argue for them. You'll practice expressing your opinion about these values. The next lesson will be about expressing your feelings. We'll practice how to express feelings in different cultural contexts and practice keeping a conversation going so that we don't get any dead spots or what we call pregnant pauses. And we'll practice inquiring politely during a conversation so nobody is offended. And in the next lesson, we'll talk about artificial intelligence. We're getting rather into some complex language by now, but you will handle it, don't worry. We'll practice reading about artificial intelligence and debating about artificial intelligence and its consequences on humankind. We'll learn to compare human intelligence with machine intelligence and give opinions about it. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about using convincing language. You will practice trying to convince someone of something that is your opinion or the way things that you feel they should go. You'll learn advanced expressions to express interest and amazement. You'll also review vocabulary related to persuasion, how to persuade people to your way of thinking. And in lesson 19, we're going to talk about advanced negotiation skills. You'll discuss negotiation strategies and practice taking part in negotiations. You'll learn to negotiate with people from different cultures. And you'll practice giving in some situations and pushing for your views in other areas, all in the frame of being polite and politically correct. And the last lesson in this series, which brings you absolutely to an upper intermediate level, you'll learn how to prepare a conference talk. You'll practice structuring the text of a presentation, and you'll practice preparing and conducting this conference talk. So, how about that? In 20 lessons, you will have come from using basic beginner business English up to using upper intermediate. That's a pretty good journey. Once you get to there, congratulations. You have achieved a great victory. You've progressed from beginner to a competent user of business English. You have made yourself very valuable to your employer. So why should you take lessons with me, or why should you take the lessons that I conduct? Well, here are some reasons. I am highly experienced in all aspects of English language coaching. I've had more than 20 years in universities, colleges, and teacher training colleges in Asia and in Australia, so I do know a fair bit about it. And I've had vast experience in business before doing that, including being a nominee for the Rotary Club Business of the Year Award 2 times, and, might I say, actually winning that 2 times. I'm a native English speaker with a very clear accent, and I'm from Australia, although I don't have the typical Australian accent, people tell me I have more of a educated British accent. And I've had many years of successful online instruction to business people in Russia, China, Vietnam, France, Germany, Ukraine, Belarus, and many, many more places. So I know how to do online. I have an international teacher rating of 4.88 over 5, where the average is 4.61 over 5 on an international platform. I have a wide variety of international clients, ranging from education consultants to heavy industry. They don't come to me because I'm no good. And I have the ability to speak several languages. I'm self-taught in a number of languages, so I understand the challenges that you are facing, and you will find that I am quite prepared to listen to everything that you say. So who have been some of my clients in the past, or even at the moment? In the education arena, Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organisation is one of them. ATA, the TESOL people from Australia. VATC, Vietnamese American Training College, all over Vietnam, 32 campuses. James Cook University, Australia, where I was involved in teaching foreign students who came to the college, who came to the university. Language Link on an international basis. ILA, which is one of the premier language centres in Vietnam and in Southeast Asia. Okay. Well, what happened there, I wonder? And the Ministry of Education of Malaysia, where I was involved as the state manager of an ESL teacher upskilling program in state schools. And Saigon Technical University, which is an American university with a campus that is located in Saigon. In heavy industry, I've had a lot of impressive clients too. Gazprom from Russia. Also, Petronas was one of my more important clients when I conducted the Petronas. What do they call it? Scholarships in Southeast Asia. Vietsov Petro, I've been involved in them. Venashin Engineering Complex, which is heavy industry involved in shipbuilding. Caltex, we all know about Caltex. Shell, we know Shell. And the People's Army of Vietnam, and also Whirlpool, electrical appliance maker. And in financial and service industries, some of my clients have included Mitsuho Bank from Japan, International Bank, Agribank, Vietcom Bank, Procter & Gamble, international sellers of everything from Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. And I do have qualifications. I have a BA and a PhD, but more relevant to this particular situation, I have a professional TESOL diploma, which means I can teach English, and I also have a Propel TOEFL diploma, which means I can teach TOEFL. So what do some students say about my teaching? Let's see what people like you who take my courses have to say. This guy here from Pfizer Pharmaceuticals in Hong Kong said, "Amazing teacher, thank you so much." Alice, an office manager from Costa Rica. He's a lovely teacher. I liked he gave us different examples to explain something. I loved his class. And then how about Vasily, a computer programmer from Moscow? Raymond is a great teacher. Eugene, a software developer from Tokyo, Japan. Ray is a professional, patient, and kind teacher. Alexei from Gazprom in Chuman, Siberia. Great lessons. Raymond has a really good way of teaching, examples, sense of humor, etc. Janice, business studies student from Shanghai, China. Great. I learn a lot. Thanks. And there are plenty more. If you want to see some of them, let me know. I've got thousands, but I can't put them all here. And okay, so your road to success is right here before you. You have the opportunity to walk on the road to success by taking Dr. Ray's online Business English course. You can see who I am down there. That's me. It's a 20-lesson course in Business English, starting at the beginner level and taking you to the upper intermediate level in 3 distinct steps. I am a highly qualified and highly experienced instructor in this sort of thing. A program delivered directly to your training facility or your home or office if your company decides that's the way to go at times that suit you, either at work or at your home. So, question is, what are you waiting for? Why don't you talk to your training officer at your company today? Or why don't you take the initiative and join up anyway? I'll show you how to do that very shortly. So, let's begin today. I hope to see you in the courses. If you are a training manager of a company, or the owner or the training manager for Business English of a language center, hold on. There's more for you. A few words for the training officer or language school about Dr. Ray's online Business English course. How does it work in a multi-student situation where you might have a number of students wanting to take the course? Well, first of all, you get some enrollments, right? Let's assume you have 10 people to put onto this course. As the buyer of this course, you are the buyer of this course. You pay only one price. That is, the price is $200 US per course. But you can use the course for as many learners as you need. As many as you can fit in your training room. So it doesn't matter. There's no upper limit, as long as they can all access it. Therefore, the cost per learner, let's assume with 10 learners, is $20 per learner, or $1 per learner per lesson. You've got to admit, that's pretty cheap. And so if you are charging the learners for the course, the profits are obvious. I'm not going to tell you what to charge them, but you can see how this could easily make you a considerable amount of money with almost no effort. The resources. Each lesson comes with downloadable and printable backup resources, and learners can collate these and hold them in a folder to make a review textbook. I always suggest you hand them out at the end of the lesson or during the lesson, not at the beginning of the course. When ready to hold the class, you simply connect with the course on the platform which I will give you, and learners watch the videos or the presentations. They do the exercises as you project the lesson in your training facility. It's that simple. So, contact me for further arrangements if you need them. Perhaps you would like to alter the curriculum that I have shown you to suit more specifically your particular company's needs. Or maybe you want to talk to me about an affiliate program as a reseller and more. So see the email that came with this video and to see how to check out a lesson, etc. before you make any commitment. You can have a look at a free lesson and see how I structure it. Okay, that's about it. Bye.